Hey everybody, it's me Gambit896 and I'm back with another video for you guys. This is going to be something a little bit different. This is going to be a review of a specific single issue, specifically in issue 1. And that is of Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin's The Private Eye #1. So as I've just given away, the series is written by Brian K. Vaughan, who some of you may know from Saga, Why the Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, and Marcos Martin you'll know from, he did some early issues of the Mark Waid Daredevil run, specifically issues 4, 5 and 6. He's also done some work with Brian K. Vaughan on a book called Doctor Strange the Oath, which I would very much like to read at some point, but unfortunately over here in the UK the trade seems to be widely out of print or insanely expensive. So anyway, the series The Private Eye is published by the creators through Panelsyndicate. I'll leave a link below to the website and where you can download the first issue in the description. It's one of these so-called pay what you want comics, and it's a digital only format comic. And by pay what you want, I mean if you put, say, if you're in the UK and you put a penny in, then you can pledge that amount of money and then you can download the comic, or you could put $1 in or a cent and you can download the comic. So the comic is available in 3 download formats. So we have CBR, PDF or CBZ. Personally, I downloaded the CBR version because I have a CBR reader on my laptop. Also, I'll put some links below to 2 reviews by 2 of my fellow YouTubers, James Donnelly and SleepyReader666, who both gave this first issue pretty stellar reviews, and both had some very interesting things to say about it. So I'll leave a link to those videos in the description. So the story starts out and we have our main character taking photos of a woman while she's taking off her clothing. Now, some of you out there might be thinking, oh, this really doesn't sound all that, sounds a bit strange and a bit weird and a bit creepy. Hear me out. So, we get the reason as to why our main character is taking pictures of this woman taking off her clothing, is because this woman is wearing a mask. Now, for those of you who've seen the Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise, I'm talking about those kind of masks where you can apply them and then you grab a piece of the latex material and just pull it off. So that is what what our main character is taking photos of. And he's happened upon by some members of the press, who in this dystopian world are the police, essentially. So he's interrupted by the press and then he makes his escape. And we find out that the character is wearing a dream coat, which is a form of disguise which he uses to aid him in his escape from the press, who again in this world wield paintball guns, which I thought was kind of funny. So we find out why our main character of Patrick Immelman, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, IMMELMANN, is a private investigator who was hired by this guy who has the fish of a head for a head to investigate this woman that we just saw in the first opening page, because he used to go to school with her. So Patrick is collecting his fee from the guy, and he gives him a warning. He says, it might not be best to try and contact this woman. Maybe you should, go home to your wife and just let sleeping dogs lie, so to speak. And I'll get on a reason as to why all these people are in disguises later on in the review. We're then introduced to a young woman named Tosh, who has this image-inducing collar where she is walking around wearing the head of a tiger. Now she wants to hire Patrick to do some digging on somebody's past, specifically on hers. And we find out the reason as to why she wants Patrick to do this, and again I'll go into the reasons why people's personal lives and personal information now needs to be investigated in this world later on. So then we have a look around Patrick's office from the perspective of Marcos Martin's fantastic artwork. When we see that Patrick is kind of an old fogey. He's using an old landline as a means of communication, or an old telephone. He has old vinyl records in his office, and he has a movie poster of the Maltese Falcon, which is one of my personal favourite Humphrey Bogart movies of the short few that I've seen. Just a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen the Maltese Falcon, I highly recommend you check it out. So we're then introduced to the character of Patrick's grandfather, who's this dishevelled old man who's wearing a tank white vest top, and he's got tribal tattoos all over his arms, and he's holding an old iPhone, which the screen is cracked, and he's trying to get it to work, and he says to Patrick, "I'm not getting any bars. Are you getting any bars?" So it's kind of implied through this conversation that then ensues between the two characters that Patrick's grandfather may have Alzheimer's. The reason why the iPhone hasn't worked for the past 60 years is because in this world, everybody's information, from their personal information to their income to all their dirty little secrets that they've wanted to keep hidden, was stored in this massive storage device known as the cloud, which burst, which then resulted in, again in this world, there's no internet. So everybody's information, be it personal or anything they've wanted kept hidden from everybody, is right out in the open for everybody to see. So this is why everybody is now walking around in disguises and hiring people like Patrick to dig up some pieces of their past, is because all the information which they stored just disappeared, just disappeared, just like that. So now, like I said, Patrick and people like him in this world are having to dig up people's past for them because they can't seem to remember it because all the information is gone. And the ending to this, Tosh runs into an old acquaintance of hers who has some secrets of his own that he wants to keep hidden, and the ending to it is really, really shocking, and I want to know what happens next right now. The writing by Brian K. Vaughan is absolutely fantastic. You know, like I said, you may know him from Saga, Why the Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, and of course, like I said, Marcos Martin has worked with Vaughan on Doctor Strange the Oath. Equally on par with Brian K. Vaughan's writing is Marcos Martin's fantastic artwork. Like I said, it's a digital only comic, so it's only available online. Like I said, I'll leave some links below in the description for you guys to check out. I do hope that one day, once this full 10-issue run has been released by the creators, I do hope they collect it into a trade paperback, because I would like to have a physical copy of it that I can actually, you know, hold in my hands and actually flick through and read once the whole thing has been released. This was a 5 out of 5 for The Private Eye #1. If you're a fan of Brian K. Vaughan from a writing standpoint, if you're a fan of Marcos Martin's artwork, who my first exposure to Martin was the early issues of Mark Waid's Daredevil that he did, specifically issues 4, 5 and 6, which his artwork on there was, again, absolutely fantastic. Or if you want something really interesting to read, which is a very intriguing, engaging and engrossing story, or if you're a fan of web or digital comics and you want, again, something different to read, then I highly recommend Brian K. Vaughan's The Private Eye #1. Again, I'll put a link to the website Panelsyndicate in the description. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. If you're new, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.